That's the most valuable, leaving the rest unused. That way we can make more money per hunting trip to this area, okay? So there's a lot of wasted sheep meat because of that. Now, even after these mark hunters would, fill their packs and their sleds to capacity with as much of this meat as they could, an elevation of about 3,000 feet, give or take, okay? So we're going to kind of be hovering around 3,000 feet today, maybe a little less, okay? But as we've gained elevation, you can see that the forest, the boreal forest, is starting to change, right? Trees are starting to thin out more and more as we're going along, okay? That's there that eventually the trees just kind of come to a stop, right? Just kind of stop growing at a certain point.
Wow.
And once you hit that tree line and go above it, and there's no longer trees growing, that's a different ecosystem called alpine tundra, okay? A place where trees don't grow because they're too high up and it's too cold. Now, here in Denali National Park, ecosystems.
Look at the blue sky.
Be drawn into that food and start to depend on that food. That's not good for them, okay? That actually happened a couple of years ago, okay? We had squirrels here in the park that, on this tour that we're on, we used to hand out waters and granola bars. But then what we noticed is that the stops, like Savage Cabin, when everybody would get off the bus, go up to the...
This is 30-second.
I love seeing big groups of people headed out on a good adventure. In this vast expanse of more than 6 million acres, you have a chance to experience wilderness. The wilderness alive. This is also someone who's going to help you know how to protect this place for the people that are coming here after you. My second piece of advice is to be open to whatever it is.
Wow, we are out in Denali National Park. I haven't had a chance to say anything. I'm stopping. This is the second stop we've had. We had some sun. Now we're getting some sprinkles, and we're going to have a little presentation. We get quite a beautiful situation out here. Some showers out here now. We're having a presentation, short native person from the area.
Yep, that looks like a male. And it looks like his velvet's gone on his antlers. They're a little bit red, okay? That velvet material, that soft material covers their antlers, through most of the year when they're growing. That provides nutrients, helps them grow. That's coming off. So he's lost most of it. That's why his antlers are kind of that light color, a little bit red in some places.
I could see him, I just can't put it.
And you start to be right straight out. There he is. He's starting to take it.
we're moving.
He's looking.
It's among the trees.
I know, but he's right there. Oh, you're
Yep.
here doing it. I'm sorry.
I can't, it won't budge.
Yeah, I got a beautiful shot of the face.
Alright, so we're going to start to pull ahead here, folks. So if you want to get a picture, as we start to pull forward here in a second, there's going to be a really good opening, okay? So just a little bend to the right. So we're just going to bend slowly. You can't block the view of this place.
Turn it up. And
Wrap it around.
yeah, you can wrap, yeah. So we'll talk more about the Alaskan Husky as a breed during the program. Good girl, Tater.
Oh my goodness, look at that.
Yep, it's all out.
Oh, beautiful eyes. Oh,
Yeah, they'll start to. It's starting to get a little bit chillier, and you're right. Like over the next few months, they will definitely start getting hookier and hookier as
You good boy. They're beautiful. Sled dogs.
Russ and Pam, two of our kennel staff members here. Alright, so obviously some athletic prowess there, right? You may have also noticed as we were getting the dogs hooked up to the sled, and now as they're getting settled here in the pit, there are also some very unique individual personalities among the dogs. And those personalities are something that our kennel staff is very intimately aware of. It's because most of our dogs are born right here in the Denali kennels, where the dogs come to us as very young pups. And so our kennel staff, they are the ones who raise the dogs, care for them, train them, and run with them. And so they know each dog's personality, its individual strengths and weaknesses, and that's what allows them to put together an optimal team for whatever task is at hand, whether it is one of these summer. Yeah, is that true, Topo? Is that true? Yeah, so so whether the task is one of these summer demonstration runs or one of our winter project trips. So let's meet today's team. So back here in the wheel position, we've got our big guy Pinata. Thank you, Pinata. So Pinata is a very good example of what a typical wheel dog might look like. They tend to be some of the larger dogs on the team. They also are really excited to run. And the reason that we need those traits in our wheel dogs is because they are the ones who take on the initial weight of the sled as it takes off from a stopped position. Now, in the wintertime, when we're doing our project runs, Pinata would have a partner in that wheel position. The dogs always run paired. But because we're only running a 5-dog team to pull a wheel training cart with just Jen in it for this summer demonstration, he doesn't need a partner. Now, also in the wintertime, in front of our wheel dogs, in this spot where I'm standing, we would have a set of dogs called our team dogs. Now, team dogs, their job is simply to pull and to maintain speed. The number of team dogs necessary is dependent on the amount of weight we're pulling in our sled. So the heavier the sled, the more team dogs we'll have, and we typically have anywhere from 2 to 6 dogs in this spot. Now, in front of our team dogs, in our swing position, today we have Tatum, who many of you met in the yard today, and we have Topo. Now, our swing dogs, they play an important role on the team in that they are essentially acting like the steering wheel. So, if our leaders out there on the winter trail took a nice sharp turn around a corner, our team dogs, they might want to cut that corner and follow the leader. But the swing dogs, they take the team out in a nice wide arc. They swing the team outward around that corner. And that allows them to keep the dogs and the sled on the trail. And if our musher happens to be riding on the sled at that point, also keeps them on the sled, which is pretty important. And then right up front, today in our lead position, we have Stewart and we have Sitkin, who's apparently being a weirdo right now, right, Sitkin? Yeah. And so our lead dogs, they, again, really important role on the team. All of our dogs play an incredibly important role. And so what our lead dogs do is they are the ones who are taking the commands from the mushers. They are setting the pace. They are keeping the rest of the dogs motivated. They also have to be pretty alert and intelligent dogs. And that's because they have to pay attention to trail conditions. So if we were in inclement weather and our musher couldn't necessarily see the trail very well, our lead dogs are acting like navigators. They're helping bring the mushers to those winter cabins, helping get them there safely. They're also paying attention to changes on the ground, especially if we're running a river. They might need to pay attention to changes in ice conditions, and then they have to be alert for wildlife. And they need to be able to be willing to stop the team, even if they haven't necessarily heard that command from the musher. So a little scrappy, but you're still cute. Yeah. And the reason for that is when you are hauling hundreds of pounds over hundreds of miles, performance takes precedence over pretty. And so the breed that we use is a breed that is based on its ability to perform. And it is, believe it or not, one unique, singular genetic breed, a breed called the Alaskan Husky. Alaskan Huskies are very alert to what is happening in the yard. And so Alaskan Huskies, they are not only born and bred to run and to pull, but they are also very uniquely adapted to working in cold climates. And so some of the adaptations, and we'll use our buddy Sitkin, since he's standing up for me right here, that we see in the Alaskan Huskies, you might notice that our dogs very large, actually. Tatum is actually our smallest dog in the yard, and they range from about 50 pounds to upwards of 90 pounds for the independently. So this is always a very exciting part of the program, especially since we have puppies in the yard nowadays, and you can hear everybody getting excited. So the few of the dogs today will be going home on leash because either having recently been moved, so they're not sure where their house is right now, or because they are very tuned in to puppies. But the dogs who are going to run home for us today, we're going to do something called doggy bowling. And it's two parts. One is something we call two-paw drive. So when the dogs don't have those easy leads on, we take them by their collar, pull them up next to our bodies, and they hop on their back feet. That gets their front feet out of the way so that clumsy rangers don't step on them and injure them. It also allows us to have some semblance of control over the dogs, so again, they don't pull us down. So it's safe for both the dogs and for us. Dogs are absolutely used to moving that way. And then again, because they do transition their houses every so often, we have to give them a little help in remembering where they live. And so we might give them a little bowling down the proper lane. So, going home first today is our buddy Pinata, who was quite active during today's program. So Pinata was part of the 2016 birthday litter. In 2016, the National Park Service celebrated its birthday. He is a very focused dog on the wintertime trail. He is also a little bit reserved when it comes to people. He takes his time in deciding whether he likes you or not. So you notice that he loves Pam. He's still working on me. I've gotten him to lick my hand. We're still getting there. But once he has found his people, he's incredibly. All right. Going home next is Topo. So Topo was one of last year's puppies, so he's just over a year old. So he was part of the Team Denali litter. They were called the Team Denali litter because last year was Denali's 100th birthday. And Topo is one of the few dogs in the yard that has that very traditional kind of curly Q husky tail. He is all about digging. So while the rest of the dogs are kind of napping on breaks out on the winter trail, he's all about digging holes. It's really cute. And then Sitkin, one of our big guys, is going to go home next. So Sitkin, we call him the goth dog because he's got that black eyeliner and those bright blue eyes. The eyes have earned him quite a lot of notoriety. They make him very beautiful. He was actually on the cover of a mushing magazine a few years ago. He's pretty well worth the attention. All right, and then going home next is Tatum. Her nickname's Tater Tot. So Tatum is the smallest dog in the yard, as I said. She is also the best auntie in the yard, whether or not she is a true auntie. She is one of the first big dogs who actually gets to hang out with the puppies. She is going home on leash today because she gets distracted by the puppies. And then going home last is Stewart. Stewart was also part of the 2017 birthday litter. He was the bravest puppy out of last year's litter. He was the first to come out of the puppy house, the first to start playing on the toys, and he's looking to be one of our great leaders. So everybody made it home, which is very exciting. I'm going to allow you guys to get out of here and go home in just a little bit, but we've got a few things to cover yet, so sit tight.
Well, the sun is out tonight, and so we're seeing all around us mountains. I hope it'll come out on the video. River running down below. We're just back from our bus ride into Denali. Just came back, checked back in, and get a little rest before we go for dinner. Wish I knew what river this was.
Maybe there's a
Shenna River, Well, this is the night before we pack up and head for Fairbanks. But we came out to take a walk. It is, 20 minutes of 9 p.m., but it's still light. We're on the river walk or whatever it's called. Okay, we're going to do a 360. All around us is spectacular views of these. My battery will hold up. So now we're coming around to facing the front of the lodge that direction. You can see one of the across the road places. And this is AB, Buildings AB is where we are staying. Rushing River. They've had so much rain here. But the river is just, I guess, overflowing, or I don't know. It's just going really fast. We're on the deck behind the Grizzly Bar and Grill or something like that.